Choosing a degree to study further can be quite a daunting task, especially if you don't have sound advice or guidance. But don't worry, we've got you. So by the end of this video, you should have a roadmap to help you pick your degree of study more knowledgeably and more comfortably. So stay tuned. Please note that in this video, I will be referring a lot to choosing a degree to study and choosing a degree to study in university. But this information actually applies to choosing any type of program. It doesn't necessarily have to be a degree, and it can be in any type of institution. It doesn't necessarily have to be in university. But I'm going to be using these so that I don't have to keep saying all of the types of institutions every time. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Choosing a degree to study is actually a very, very important decision, mainly because it affects your academic journey, it affects your studies and career prospects, and it can also affect your personal growth. And add to that the fact that there are so many options to choose from. All of this can actually make this decision an overwhelming one. However, by considering various factors and engaging in self-reflection, you can actually navigate this decision a lot more comfortably and knowledgeably. And that is why in this video, I will be covering those factors that you need to consider that will enable and empower you to actually make the right choice for your future. Stick around. Number one, self-reflection. By considering things like what are my strengths, what am I passionate about, what are the things that actually get me excited, or what are my strengths and weaknesses, all of this can actually point you towards a potential area of interest for you and something that you can actually study going forward. This is very important because it's important that you bring yourself to your workplace or to your career. And so considering your interest is a very important and key part of making this decision. Number two, research prospective careers. So once you've done this in-depth search of what it is that is relevant to you and interesting to you and things that you are passionate about or strong at, do consider then potential careers that are within those industries. This should include looking at things like salary ranges, looking at the job market currently. This will include looking at what do you need to study to be able to get into this career, and also what the growth prospects are like for that specific career. This information will actually let you know if it's a good idea to get into a career, because it doesn't help that you get into something that you're passionate about, but you don't know or have an idea how you would make money from it. So this is something that you also need to consider when picking your degree of study. Number three, consider your aptitude. As much as your passions are important, it is also important to consider your aptitude. This refers to your skills and abilities to perform in a specific career. In this part of the consideration, you would need to also speak to mentors, speak to leaders and people that are in your immediate environment around your aptitude and the guidance or the necessary skills that are required to get into a specific career or to get into a specific field. This is very, very important because remember, you will need to actually perform and get the job done. So if you're passionate about something but you are not able to do it, it might not be a good fit for you. Keeping in mind that yes, you are still going to study, you are still going to learn. However, you shouldn't go for something you're completely unskilled in or completely unable to acquire the skills of. I do have a theory though that you can actually be or master anything that you put your mind to, as long as you're willing to give it the necessary time and resources it requires from you. So for someone, it might take them 1 hour to understand a concept, while someone else, it might take them 5 hours to understand the concept. Both people do have the ability to end up knowing the concept, as long as each person is willing and able to give the amount of time and resources it requires of them to understand those concepts. So when you are considering your aptitude, please consider the fact that you can also actually get better at things. However, don't also be completely optimistic and go for something you know absolutely nothing about. That is not a wise choice. Number four, consider degree programs. This is now where once you've narrowed down to a specific industry or career, you then consider what programs are available for you to train to get into this field. So this would be looking at the types of institutions that offer this, the curriculum of those institutions, what the learning and growing prospects are. You can also look into something like the alumni network of that institution, as that can also influence the different opportunities that you might get access to. So in this part of the career picking journey or degree picking journey, you are now considering what is available in terms of training out there and what makes the most sense for your journey. Number 5, seek guidance. Once you have considered your passions, you've considered your aptitude, you've considered what program you can get into and the institutions that are available, you do need to reach out to people who are in this career, or even to career counselors, or to I know you know, wink wink, for the different offerings that they have that can actually guide you into this decision or through this decision that you have now made. In this type of session, you would discuss with the person that you are consulting with what led you to the choice and the decision that you've made this, and why you want to study the program that you've chosen. And through this discussion, you will actually be able to get sound advice, because you might find that some of the reasons that you might have used to pick something are not informed. And perhaps there might be something that's more relevant based on actually what you're looking for, or there might be some things that you might not know but are actually available out there. So it's important to not make your decision in a silo, but to actually involve other knowledgeable people or institutions in your decision-making process. Number 6, consider the future trends. Now, with the world changing so rapidly, especially with the advent of technology, some jobs might not be relevant in a few years, or some skills might be relevant that are currently not relevant, So when you're considering future trends, this is where you're looking into what the job market might look like in the future, what emerging industries are there, what skills are starting to become more marketable or less marketable. What this will do is, if you do pick something that is relevant to growing industries or emerging industries, it might actually increase your marketability in the long run. So this would be something that you should consider for sure when you are picking a degree program to study. Number 7, internships and experiential learning. Look out for opportunities to actually participate in the real world scenarios of what happens in your career. So this could look like job shadowing someone who is in it, or doing like a vacation work in that specific industry, or even visiting in and just seeing. What this will do is it will give you a real life feeling of what it would feel like to work there. Because sometimes we feel like, okay, I actually want to do medicine, and then now when you're supposed to do the 36-hour calls, you actually realize that actually this is so disruptive to my life. I actually do not want to be in a career where I have to work for this many hours, So it is important to actually immerse yourself in that specific field, industry, in terms of how the actual work is, and not just what topics you'll be doing or where you can study, but actually understand what it looks like for you to be in that industry as well. Number 8, consider programs that will give you flexible and transferable skills. So these are programs whereby the skills that you are going to gain from are actually applicable in different industries. What this means is that it won't lock you into a specific industry, especially as mentioned with the changing trends and the growing and emerging markets. You might find that something that you got into is no longer relevant, but because the skills you gain from that program are transferable, you can actually apply those skills in a different industry altogether. So in what you are picking, ensure that you will be learning, list the types of skills you'll be getting from that, and ensure that you mark out the ones that are transferable, so that you see that this program is actually going to help you grow, not just for a specific industry, but also in future, potentially for another industry where you can actually start applying those skills. Number 9, embrace personal growth. Picking a career is a daunting task, but it's also not a forever choice. So you might find that you might pick a career in your early 20s, and then you might pivot later on in your mid-20s and 30s or mid-30s. Like, there are a couple of people who've pivoted quite a number of times in their careers, who are doing something they never thought they would be doing, or even something they didn't know about. So embrace personal growth. Don't feel like because you chose to be a teacher when you were 20, you need to be a teacher forever, or that when you want to do something else, or are interested in something else, that you're not serious or whatever the case might be, there will be a lot of growth in your journey, and part of that can also come with a career change. And so you need to embrace personal growth and actually check in with yourself. So even if you are already in a career, check in with whether or not this is still aligned with my passions, this is still aligned with my career prospects, is this still aligned with where I want to see myself in 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. And don't be opposed to the possibility of a change. Embrace the career growth and ensure that you're making an informed and well-researched decision as well when you do pivot. But also don't make it a habit to just keep changing because things are getting tough. Because there is a difference between embracing personal growth and running away from tough situations. So understand and balance the two out well. It's okay to change, it's okay to move on to other things, but it's not okay to keep moving on to other things because the things that you're in are actually getting tough, or that you don't or that the challenges of the journey are coming up. Don't make the challenges push you out of something. If it's something that you really, really want, I advise that you stick through it. However, if you see that it's not aligned anymore with who you are and where you are going, it's completely fine to change. Last but not least, number 10, be authentic. So all of the points that I've mentioned are quite pointless if you're not going to be authentic. You need to show up as yourself in this journey and in your career going forward. What this means is that a lot of people think that there's a right and a wrong career that you can do, or there are important or less important careers. I believe that everyone has their own potential, and their potential is unique. You are the only one in the world that can actually do what you need to do in the way that you need to do it. You're the only one in the world that can touch people or create impact in the way that you are intended to create that impact. So when you embrace yourself and you show up authentically without trying to imitate other people and without trying to be like other people, you actually stand a chance of ending up in your career and in a career that will speak to your potential and to your purpose. And so when you're authentic, you're able to engage all the other 9 points authentically and actually land in a career that is for you, that is right for you. Okay, there you have it. Those are the 10 points you should consider when you are trying to pick a degree to study. Remember that getting your degree, it's not just a piece of paper, but it's an actual transformative educational journey that can land you in places that you might not even picture at the moment. So make sure you take your time considering each of these 10 points and write down things, journal, do research, and involve other people as well. It can be your parents, your teachers, your friends. Make sure that you give this the time it deserves, because it does deserve a lot of time, because it can also be quite an expensive decision to make, especially if you realize you ended up in the wrong program or the program doesn't really speak to where you're trying to go. It can get quite challenging to switch to something else. So just ensure that by the time you get into a program, it is really something that you want to do and something that you are passionate about. I hope this video was helpful to you. Please give it a like if you really liked it, and share it with other people that you think might benefit from it. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you in the next one. Bye.